Now, last Saturday's Anambra state governorship election presented a mixed outcome, marked by significant improvements alongside persistent electoral malpractices rather. Observers noted the commendable near absence of a sit-at-home order, allowing voters free movement alongside better INEC logistics and the effective functioning of accreditation technology. However, other observers and journalists say the poll was heavily marred by brazen vote buying at polling units and strategic violence aimed at disrupting the collation of results. The analysis concludes that while logistical and security arrangements showed progress, the integrity of the election was undermined by the human element, the continued reliance by politicians on thuggery and financial inducement, and the need for voters to reject such practices. Now, for more reviews on the Anambra state governorship election, the challenges, the landmarks, and how to improve on the electoral process for the forthcoming Ekiti and Osun state governorship elections, a member of the steering committee of the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room and General Secretary for the Alliance for Credible Elections in Nigeria, Mma Odi, joins us now on Newsday. Thank you so much for joining us live from our Abuja studios. Of course, we saw the governorship election in Anambra State and the widespread reactions to it, one of which included allegations of vote buying and thuggery in certain areas. Now, this takes me back to that speech during one of the rallies that Governor Chukwuma Soludo had in Anambra State, where there were certain levels of inducements in his statement, where he was basically reiterating his desire to award certain local government zones, certain zonal areas, depending on their willingness to vote, offering cash prizes for the first, second, and third positions. And we've also seen other allegations by several journalists to say that there were even incidents where people were debating and arguing about the monies that they were supposed to receive. Now, in the wake of the joy and the widespread enthusiasm for the results that have now been announced, how would you relate what these allegations are of vote buying to the reality that is now Governor Soludo winning the election?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I was in Oka, and on Saturday I was in Newi South and Newi North and other places, and observe the elections. Well, I have to talk about, because winning election and losing election is not one-day activity. In the process leading to the election, there are actions carried out by different stakeholders. In Anambra, the most powerful instrument to win or lose election is the community development unions or town development unions. The towns used to elect their president and vice president. But during the time of Governor Soludo, he actually appointed them. Knowing that Igbo people participate in their governance at the local levels, he appointed them, and there are 158 structured markets in Anambra, and they used to elect their leaders. But under Soludo, he appointed those leaders and also decreed that no candidate should go and campaign in the markets. But if you go to the market, because our partner, Civil Society Situation Room, mobilize voters to ensure that we don't have that kind of participation we had 4 years ago, 6th of November 2001, 10.26% was very bad percentage. So they went to the market campaigning to the mobilizing voters to come out on Saturday last week and vote massively for the candidate of their choice. We also recall that in Anambra, for this immediate past election of 2 days ago, there is no serious contest in that election, because we were actually in the polling unit of the candidate of APC till 11:20 a.m. with many journalists. He has not come to cast his vote from morning till 11:20 a.m. and Umu Diala polling unit. So in Newi South. So there was no serious contest. So when I watch people jubilating or saying things, and it beats me that, because from day one leading to the election, there was no serious contest. There's no serious candidate challenging. And you can't put side by side by year 2021 Oseku governorship election in Anambra, when there were strong 3 candidates contesting for each vote. You can see, and that was partly responsible for the violence and the crisis that happened leading to year 2021 general election. We were so happy for the calm environment we saw, and like 3 months leading to election, from August, September, October till November 8th, the insecurity drastically reduced apart from the Olumba killing of a councillor that came out to vote. We didn't hear that kind of snatching of kidnapping of INEC personnel and INEC materials. We didn't hear of any insecurity or any threat to observers, to candidates. So we were so happy that there was no serious insecurity challenges in this immediate past election. But you can also attribute it to not having serious contenders contesting for the election. Because when you look around, you also see that the people who emerged from political parties for both external and internal influences were not serious contenders. I think they are actually people entertaining themselves, because you cannot actually see their presence, except you see some of them talking about vote buying. The main votes were bought before the elections. They're talking about vote buying, I think actually because the citizens are involved. I saw in Imudiala, polling unit 1, I saw a woman who came there with I saw her. She asked how much are they paying. And they told her, she simply walked away with her PVC. She didn't vote, you know. When we talk about, I said it and I repeat it and I emphasize it, that the buying of votes that happened on the election day cannot impact the elections. What impacted the election was the vote buying that happened before the election day. The vote that was the candidate slot that were bought by those who can pay for it. Who has nothing to offer or to contest for. And those, the ruling party, those they bought at the community and towns levels, at the market levels. Those are the real vote buying that happened. Those 10,000, 20,000, 15,000, 5,000, 30,000 that happened on Saturday cannot actually alter the result, because the election was won and lost before the election day.
Thank you for giving us more insight to what you witnessed on Saturday, unfortunately. Now, you mentioned that there was no serious contest or candidate that challenged the Governor Soludo, who has emerged winner. And yesterday, we also had Faith Nwadishi and Taiwo Olapade. And one of the points that they raised was that they didn't see a lot of voter education, and the political class has also made it clear that they're not necessarily interested in the process, but the outcomes. And now that you've also mentioned this case of vote buying and in some cases vote selling, where members of the electorate didn't carry out their rights or what they expected to do because they didn't get the right price. What do you think when you tie all this together, what do you think is the future of elections, specifically in Anambra State, with this precedent that's been set?
I actually think the media and the civil society people have a lot of work to do. In the Newi South and North that I and my team monitored, markets were open. People were going about their normal business. And also in the 2021 governorship Oseku election, those places were locked down, and there were serious contention of votes in those places. So because there is no serious candidate that they want to vote for, they were going about their normal business. And an unfortunate thing that we saw in that election, especially in Newi South, are underage voters. So many young people came out to vote. And if you ask them, I am 18 years. All of them, I am 18 years. I turned 18 last year. I turned 18 2 months ago. I turned 18 yesterday. Those are the things we had when we inquired. And you see some people came out. They want to engage us. Why are you troubling them? Are they the ones who registered themselves? We say, no, we are just observers. We are not troubling them. We are just curious to know about their age. So we just move on. They are, and for the first time, I've been observing elections since 1999. For the first time, I saw a political party stocks buying votes. They will ask somebody, go and collect your ballot paper, go and vote, return it to me. And they do that before me, to a central school in Newi South. He there except the Anambra party agent that was buying votes. He started crying to us that these APC people, they are holding people's ballot papers. They should allow people to be the one to hold their ballot papers and put it in ballot box. Those are the things. It's an eyesore. Because the political talks, those buying votes, took over the whole job of the INEC personnel. And they were doing it shamelessly. And I confronted one. You are not supposed to be touching somebody's ballot papers. He said, I'm sorry. But she continued with doing it. And it breaks my heart to see the people. I even have on my phone, I captured them in my camera. The woman who actually writing the names of those who have voted for her party to pay. When I see that these women that we are all my life, I spent all my life campaigning for, struggling for women empowerment and women taking their positions in the scheme of things in Nigeria. Why would women be the one paying for the votes? The men, if you want to buy votes, you buy it by yourself and pay and leave women out of it. It pains me so much that they are always using women to pay for these votes. Those who want to buy votes should come out and buy their vote and pay for it and leave women out of it. We have a lot of work to do by telling people, women especially, and the citizens that it is time, because what you are buying and selling is good governance. And when I look at buying and selling at the level of the voters, what I see is a failure of governance. What you are buying and selling is good governance. Because you have no right to demand for improved school infrastructure. You have no right to ask for quality teachers to teach in public schools. Though Peter B virtually handed over school back to the missionaries. But we still have to ask questions about health, about social amenities, road infrastructure, pipe and water. The women still have to ask questions. If they are the one selling and buying this vote, it is sad. I asked a woman, why are you selling things on election day? Yes. She now replied, Madam, if the donors do not pay for you, will you be in this orca? That's what they ask, which means they know what they are doing. These
are very essential issues that you have raised, because clearly there is almost a certain level, there's a certain lackadaisical, nonchalant behavior that you have described for people in Anambra State during these election seasons. Now, it's been known for a long time. It's a common parlance. People would say that Anambra State is an APGA state, so any election happening, APGA most definitely is going to win that election. So obviously, do you think this could have also contributed to some of the behaviors that we have seen? Also, considering that we're looking forward to the Ekiti and Osun State elections, what do you think we can learn from this previous election season in Anambra State in implementing certain behavioral patterns and ideas within Ekiti and Osun?
Okay, I think going to Ekiti and Osun, I think the police people perform professionally. But there is a but in it, because they promise us that they have deployed 45,000 personnel, police personnel, to man the polling units. And they told us that they will put 3 police personnel at each polling unit. And they have 5,720 polling units. But INEC told us that election will not hold in 2 polling units. And the police promised us that they will have 3 personnel in each polling unit. And when we got to the Newi North, we saw police people all over, probably because where we went to was Iraq, like one of Newi North. But when we went to Newi South, even the place that the APC candidate, he has 2 polling units, supposed to cast his vote. We didn't see any single security personnel. In another place very close to a ward, in Newi South. There were 4 polling units, only 1 policeman, and he was sitting far away from where the votes were buying and selling, they were vote trading. And the police commissioner in charge of the election told us that they will arrest people buying and selling of votes. But if you do not have police personnel, who will arrest them? That's the question. You know, so going to Ekiti and Osun, year 2026, what I think we should, our police partners, they even have somebody in our situation room that was escalating our reports to different units to respond swiftly to the things we saw in the field. We think that they should make sure that whoever they are deploying is in the place they have deployed the person to. They should have observing the observers at the different local government areas and polling units. That's what I think they should do. And also think that INEC performed very well with their beavers and also uploading of election results. But they still have issues with their logistics. I think that we saw so many INEC personnel telling us, we came here since 7 a.m. We don't have buses to carry us to our polling units. And we don't also have policemen to accompany us. Actually, one bus wanted to go on his own. And the INEC officials came and told us, we don't want to go. We don't want anything to happen to us. But eventually, they left with police personnel. I think that INEC going to Ekiti and Osun should make sure they have enough buses to carry their ad hoc staff and their materials to the polling units. They're very early in the morning. And also they make sure that elections start 8:30. Even in that polling unit we went to, it has 13 polling units. It has, that ward has 5 wards and 13 polling units. Till we left that place, 8:55, no polling unit commenced any accreditation of voting. So they have to make sure that they don't have these teething problems we have been complaining about over the years. But they perform with their beavers, because in incidences when our observers see beavers that has issues, they swiftly respond to it, and the beavers started working. They did well with the beavers and with the upload of the election result from polling units to their INEC, but they need to resolve the issue of deployment of election INEC ad hoc personnel and the materials on time, because it was possible some years back in Osun State, when they deployed, even in riverine areas, before 9 a.m. it was possible. So it can be possible in Ekiti and also in Osun going forward.
Absolutely. I appreciate the balance that you did there, stating where INEC needs to do better in the upcoming elections. But let's talk about what might have happened or not happened online, or since we've done what happened on ground. What role do you think social media might have played in disinformation during the election? Were there any cases that you documented?
Okay, you know one beautiful thing about the voters and citizens of Anambra State, where they did essentially well. When people started posting year 2021 issues, the people were, before we even fact check, they say it's not true. The voters were saying it's not true. It's what happened 4 years ago. It's not true. So they were not even ready to listen to anything. They were not. They were not ready to listen to anything. You know, the driver that was taking us around was telling us, I want to go and vote. Please release me to go and vote. I want to vote. I want to vote for my candidate of choice. Not that the person has performed, though, but because after 4 years, it will come to my own Anambra Central Senatorial District. Many people have different reasons they want to vote. Not because of money. I just want to vote. You see, there is awareness. People want to vote. They want to vote for different reasons. Some people want to vote for money. And do not forget that year 2021, many people rejected money in Anambra State. They say we are not voting for money. We want to vote for our candidate. But how this money came back and became a serious issue leading to the election and election day is surprising to me.
So speaking about INEC, how would you assess INEC's reactions to these issues so far and their conduct of these elections, looking forward to how this is basically a precedent that we are now setting moving forward to future election seasons?
Okay, what I think is that there is a new chairman who just resumed 2 weeks or less than before this Anambra governorship election. There is a new chairman. I'm sure he's trying to settle down. His real test will come with Ekiti and Osun, especially Osun. That will be his real test. So my advice to him is that, first of all, he has to be a Nigerian. He has to prepare for this, for Ekiti and Osun election. He has to make sure that logistics is a thing of the past. He has to make sure that beavers work. He has to make sure that he work with the security people. Because we saw police personnel who were complaining loudly to us. They've not paid our allowances. He has to resolve that issue even before the election proper. I think INEC has a lot. And if INEC gets it right, 80% of election rigging it has been settled. INEC can actually arrest or denounce people buying votes before the election. They did not do anything. They saw somebody campaigning, paying for votes, wanting to buy votes. If they had cautioned the person, the people on ground will not sell their votes because they saw somebody bought votes and sold votes during campaign, and nothing happened to him. Encourage the citizens to go and sell their votes.
We saw that, Maodi. I mean, these are very pertinent issues that you've raised, and thank you so much for your very, very important submissions on this topic. That was the General Secretary of the Alliance Initiative, and her name is Maodi. Thank you so much for joining us today.